propune să începem cu prima prezentare. Rog pe domnul Adrian Sandu să ne spună câteva cuvinte.
And I would suggest we start with the first presentation. I will now give the floor to Mr. Adrian Sandu.
Bună dimineața tuturor and welcome to Automotive Expo. I will continue in English if you want. We can save some time to go to the meetings directly. I have my slides in Romanian, so it's easier to understand Romanian, and then I will translate directly into English. I'm representing today the Association of Automotive Manufacturers of Romania, ACAROM. I will explain a little bit after what it means, ACAROM. And I will start with a short overview of 2021, because now we are in 2022, and everything that happened in 2021, it continues also in 2022. Well, we started with a multi-crisis year. Why is that? Because when we thought the pandemic was over and we can go back to our daily business, we saw that it wasn't like that. We were in the fourth wave with a lot of problems of COVID. Also, in the automotive industry, you all know that although we have 2 months, January and February 2021, with an increase of production of vehicles, then we hit another crisis, the electronics crisis, the semiconductor, with a huge lack of semiconductor, and factories also began to stop their production. Then we have the restart of the entire economy worldwide, and the demand of raw materials was skyrocketing, and also the prices of the raw materials grow a lot. And so as a plus, it wasn't enough. We have the Suez Channel blocked in February, March, and the logistic crisis came over us, and we reached a delay of service for a container from China to Europe of 70 days, which put us a lot of problems. Negative effects, of course, price increases, production stopped, and also at national level. In 2021, we decreased the turnover from 41.4 billion in 2019, the pre-pandemic year, to almost 27.6 billion euro, decrease of 4 billion euros. Of course, everyone who was involved and who is involved in the automotive industry felt that decrease. And the total production of cars also decreased a lot, not only in Romania, but also in Europe. We lost around 5 million units in 2 years. So a lot of turnover, and also they had an important impact on the supply chain. Everyone who supplied parts and components for the OEMs, for the car manufacturers, felt that. But it was also a positive fact that Romania manufactured budget cars, which are very well received by the market, and we went from the 10th place in the European Union to the 6th place. So now Romania is the 6th EU manufacturer of passenger cars. Where we are now, we have almost 640 companies, total turnover, I already said that. What is important to say that 2/3 of the total turnover is made by suppliers of components and assemblies in Romania. So we are a big base of suppliers here. Total exports, we increased to almost 30% of total national exports, so you can see the importance of this sector for Romania. And the top 3 companies from all economy are automotive companies. You can see the figures for production. Also in the first 4 months of this year, we have an increase. but there are some rescheduling of production flows in the two plants, so we don't know what will happen next due to the lack of electronic components. The automotive industry is placed all over Romania, so we have companies all over Romania working in the automotive industries, and we have challenges. I was speaking at the first about the 4 crises. We have now the 5th. Since February, we have also Russia-Ukraine war, which puts a huge pressure, especially on raw materials. Raw materials that were coming from Russia and also from Ukraine. We have a huge increase on steel, in rubber compounds, in plastic, but also in other materials which are used in the automotive industry. And it's the second time when I say that, as it wasn't enough, we have this. The European Commission adopted last year a package of measures that are seeing that in 2050, all European transport must be decarbonized. So 0 carbon emission in 2050. This will impact a lot the automotive industry, the aviation industry, but also the naval industry. So all the sectors, you can see here, the main sectors which are impacted and which will be impacted by this plan, have to pass a lot of changes concerning trading scheme for CO2. You are all manufacturing something, so until 2050, you must have 0 CO2 fingerprint in your plant and also for your products, because also the automotive industry, the car manufacturer is forced to have 0 CO2 emission suppliers. In order to sell your car on the European market from 2030, you must have 0 emission. One big part of this transition to electricity and e-mobility is not selling electricity vehicles, electricity power vehicles, electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles. The biggest part is to adapt the infrastructure. So we took a scenario at the European level, and you can see here which are the main area of investment. We are talking about tens of billions of euros investing in charging infrastructure, but also in energy transport and energy manufacturing at European level. And this is where we are as a gap, okay? This is a weekly point how we can work in Romania in order to reach the European level at the same time with the other European states. So, we must build 26 charging stations per week since 2030. Okay? We must invest hundreds of millions of euros each month in order to catch up with the Western guys. What will happen if we don't do that? We will receive more and more used cars from Western Europe, and sales of electricity power vehicle in Romania will not be the same as in Western Europe, so we'll have more pollution. You can see here in light blue, Germany, Spain, and Poland, which are countries that are dealing with this process faster than we must do. So we have a 21% acceleration process, 21 times faster than the others do. In Romania, we must do that. And at the level of entire Europe, it's a 9 times faster than we are doing now. This is difficult because you all know that electricity prices increases a lot, gas prices increases a lot, and also oil prices that are meant to be used in producing electricity in Europe. We have, again, carbon plants that are manufacturing electricity, so the share of CO2 already increased. You can see what is the difference between what European Commission suggests for the electricity infrastructure and what is required by the automotive industry. And I give you only one number. Total number of chargers in 2013, the European Commission said that it will be enough to have around 3.9 million in whole Europe. The automotive industry says we need at least 7 million. And when we are talking about decarbonizing, it's not only for passenger cars, for small cars. You should also think that 99.8% of the total truck transport is made with diesel trucks. And those trucks must be changed in electricity trucks. So charging station will be much higher and with a lot of consumption power that requires also production and distribution. So I only said this as a challenge, and you should also think about adapting your production and your products in a continuous dialogue with your customers and also with the OEMs in order to have in 2028, 2040 a production adapted to the requirements. I'm ending my presentation telling you about ACAROM. We are the recognized partner of the Romanian authorities for dialogue concerning automotive industry issues. We have more than 170 members, and since 2006 we are a member of European Association, which deals with the whole automotive industry in Europe. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I will now